It all starts with something called performance agility, the set of beliefs and behaviors that energize work, deepen relationships, and drive improvement. As organizations continue to define and redefine how and where work gets done, the time has come to democratize performance by replacing power with partnership. How two-way dialogue, continuous collaboration, and fearless feedback can unlock fresh insights about human potential and set the conditions for more candor, clarity, collaboration, and yes, even humanity in the workplace, wherever work gets done. So how do we do it? Let's start literally at the top with the mindset that we bring to all of these performance conversations and how we evaluate performance. For many leaders, especially now during times of great uncertainty, performance management is about telling and selling. These leaders try to tell you what's wrong and then sell you on their version of how to fix it. I call people like that window gazers. Now, we have people today at Work Human Live from all over the world, but let's say you and your friend happen to be in a snowy place, and you're looking out the window at the snow-capped peak. You turn to your friend and you say, "Man, that is just stunning. The mountains, the snow, beautiful." Your friend turns right back to you and says, snow? Looks more like slush. One picture, two views. And while that's perfectly fine to have a difference of opinion, things get complicated when we introduce rank and power and hierarchy into the equation. If I'm your manager and I'm telling you my version of events, how you performed in a sales call or how you participated in a team meeting or responded to a client request, there's really just one view here, and that view belongs to me, the gazer, the person with the power and the perspective. Now, according to research, this approach of window gazing can have a very limiting effect on performance. For starters, it introduces all sorts of rater bias into the equation. One study showed that nearly 60% of the time, the feedback that's delivered has more to do with what the feedback giver believes than what he or she actually sees. The reason why feedback so often feels judgmental is because it is. We're not just getting someone else's perception of the work that we do. To the recipient of feedback, the message can even sound like a verdict on who we are. That's assuming, of course, that the person who's giving you feedback can actually remember what's happened. Memory researchers talk about a so-called forgetting curve, that as soon as we absorb new information, there's a sudden and steep loss of data. Some people put it at about 50% loss, which is then followed by a slow, steady decline over time. A week later, after having learned something new, we're likely to forget almost 90% of it unless there's some sort of active retrieval process along the way. Think about those implications now when it comes to giving feedback at work. In some organizations, it can be weeks, maybe even months before there's a conversation about performance. And by the time we get around to having these conversations with the people on our team, neither the giver nor the receiver can easily remember what's happened, at which point feedback becomes a memory game that the giver and receiver play with one another, each one trying to piece together different pieces of information that have likely become forgotten or distorted with the passage of time. And that distortion only serves to reinforce a fixed view of performance. This is who we are. This is how we're seen. And there's nothing really we can do about it to change or to improve, because that's how my manager or my colleague sees me. It's a very self-limiting, self-defeating view, and it's part of the collateral damage that is caused all the time by traditional performance management systems. The good news is that we can change all of that by adopting a mindset of performance agility. Leaders who adopt this kind of a mindset, this agile approach, don't tell others what to see. They show them where to look and help them see things all by themselves. I call these types of leaders mirror holders because they give people a better view of themselves. They aren't telling and selling. They're listening and learning. When you hold up a mirror for someone, there's still just one prevailing view, but it belongs to the person looking into that mirror, not you. Your job as a mirror holder is to make others in a position where they have the best possible view, and then to enlarge it and to expand it. today's leaders need to be more like mirror holders, not window gazers. To be agile in the world of performance management is to be responsive to the ever-changing nature of performance. How our measure of work cannot be reduced to a single moment in time, but must account for the full extent of work over time. And unless we're bringing others into that conversation as partners, then we are likely going to miss out on that information. Not only that, but also opportunities to foster growth and trust with and for our employees.